name is Victor Magnusson. I'm the design director on Darktide.
So Victor, I first want to ask, you guys had a really rocky launch. To give you a platform, can you kind of explain to the viewers who didn't know what was happening at the time, what went wrong and how you fixed it?
Well, so I think when we launched, at first people were really happy because they liked the gameplay. Like they liked the base gameplay, they liked like the combat and they liked the missions. But then after like a week or two, when the sort of supporting systems were supposed to sort of kick in, they got a bit upset because they were a bit underbaked, to be honest. But during these 2 years, or 2.5 years actually, since it's been out, we've reworked most of those systems, so they are completely overhauled by this time. Yeah.
So you guys are introducing a new class in the game. Talk a little bit about this class.
Yeah, so the new class is called the Arbites. It is actually a pet class, so it has a cyber mastiff with it. So you at all times have a dog following you around. It will passively attack enemies, but you can also order it around by using the tagging system. So you could tell it to like attack that sniper, which is super useful. So if you're like pinned down by a gunner or a sniper, and you have a really hard time reaching them because they're like shooting at you, you can just send the dog and he will 100% reach the target and kill that target. So it's like a very tactical class. Arbites are like the local, not local, but they're like the elite law enforcement of the 40k universe. So they're like really bad motherfuckers, and they will like kill everyone. So yeah, they're really cool.
You know, there are a lot of units, and there are a lot of units just in Imperial Guard. I'm sorry, what do they call it? Like arcade? What do they call them now? Not the Imperial Guard. I'm going to use the old term.
It is Imperial Guard as well.
Yeah, the Imperial Guard or Space Marines or Adeptus Mechanicus.
Yeah.
How do you guys go about deciding what you're going to pull from and insert into your game? Because there's so many options, and everyone has their favorite.
Yeah, it is a quite long process, to be honest. We look at lots of them. When we decided to do the Arbites, we had three different ideas on the shortlist. But then in the end, we opted for the Arbites because we knew that from Vermintide, that the pet class, we did a Necromancer in Vermintide, was super popular. So we wanted to do a pet class. So that was sort of the deciding factor this time. But we will be doing more classes in the future, and yeah, as you say, it is. There's a lot to choose from, so it's really hard to decide which one to do.
You guys have a lot of weapons and tools and stuff like that. Do you guys look at the codexes and like kind of go, okay, so this gun's super powerful. This is what AP2 is. Like, do you guys look at that stuff when you're adding stuff into the game and try to make it as close to the codex right as possible?
Yes, I currently have a codex on my desk back in Sweden. I won't tell you why, but I am looking at some stuff. Yes.
Space Marines confirmed, right? That's
No, I mean, the thing with the Darktide is that there are no Space Marines. Like, you play as a human. That is the goal of the game, to portray like the human side of Warhammer 40,000 and how it would be to be a normal person, or at least like maybe a military, but like quite capable, but still a human being, and not like space god, Space Marine that lives for 10,000 years and is able to like kill everything they see.
Right. And that's the difference too. Like, you wanted to tell a story that was about mortality, and Space Marines in the lore also, they're set in very specific situations. They're there for a reason. They're death squads, they're elite units, they're the Navy SEALs, right? Like, so it wouldn't make any sense for them to be like, why would they be at this forgeable planet going down? No. You know what I mean? Like, for not knowing what's down there. They make them in after, but not now.
No, we usually think of it, if the Space Marines arrive, the war is over. Like, the planet has given up. Like, okay, they're gonna demolish the whole planet. So we're trying to stop that from happening, basically. Yeah.
Can you give an example of like something the community gave you feedback that you improved upon in this next update?
One thing definitely is that with this update, there's also a free update coming. And one thing that has been a sort of a sore thumb since release is the onboarding into the game. As a new player or a veteran player, it is after the prologue and the tutorial, we sort of throw you in the deep end. We send you to the mission board, and there's like a bunch of different missions you can choose from, and you don't really understand how they tie together. So we're adding a campaign into the game, actually. So it's like a little bit story driven. Like we tie 18 missions together in a thread, and you complete one by one, and you get a little like video after each mission showing you or telling you what you did, why you did it, what the enemy's sort of motivations are. So we better explain and onboard you into the story. Another thing that we're also doing with this update, since we're messing with the mission board, is that we are changing the amount of missions available at any difficulty. So instead of only having like 3 to 4 missions of any given difficulty, now you will have an entire mission board per difficulty. So we are like quadrupling or 5 times the amount of missions you can choose at any given time. So that is a direct sort of response to players' feedback that we've gotten throughout the 2 years in the game has been active.
I know in the original launch of the game, you chose Nurgle and Cultist as kind of the main enemies, but man, boy, would I love to see Genestealer cult in this, and it makes perfect sense.
That is something that a lot of our community as well are asking for, so who knows?
How do those decisions get made? I mean, obviously you chose Nurgle, but like, do you guys sit down and work with Games Workshop, or you just see what works well with gameplay, what works well with the story?
Yeah, we are constantly in discussions with Games Workshop about every detail of the game that we do. We have a weekly meeting with them where we show all our plans. We show them every concept art, every model, everything. So we're constantly in discussions with them, and this is one of the discussions that we definitely have with them as well.
How do you guys decide what weapons and tools get placed in the game? Because again, huge arsenal on both the Space Marine and the Imperial Guard side for just weapons, melee weapons, shields, armor, everything.
Well, it's a combination of what is available to the characters, but also we try to look at our current roster of weapons and see if there are any sort of holes or niches that we're not sort of supplying, or something that we maybe only have one weapon in a specific niche, and then we try to fill that hole as much as we can.
Is it easier for your team to implement a weapon that you've seen in other video games before? I mean, Space Marine 2, the Relic series. Some of those weapons have been, but some of the stuff you have in this game has never been done in 3D before or had animation before. It's only had the either tabletop picture or the add-on in the codex.
Yeah. I mean, easy would be the wrong word. I wouldn't use that word, but yeah, we've gotten a lot better at doing weapons, like doing it now we started working on this game 6.5 years ago, I think. So there's been a lot of work done, and now as we get more comfortable sort of doing stuff, we are able to do it faster. But it is still a lot of work. The melee system in the game, it takes a lot of animations to get it feel just right. So there is a lot of work for each weapon. So it's like we have something called marks in the game, which is like variations of the same weapon. That is quite quick to do. If we have like an auto gun to do a second mark on an auto gun, that is quite fast for us to do. But any new weapon that is not sort of similar to any of the existing weapons takes a lot of time and a lot of animation and a lot of tweaking and fixing. Yeah.
What was your team's biggest takeaway from Vermintide 2 that you brought with you into Darktide?
Oh, good question. Big question. When we design games, we have something called core pillars. One of the core pillars was sort of rely on our strengths. So one thing that we took from Vermintide was like, we have really good melee combat, first-person melee combat. Let's not mess with it. Like, if we have a problem, let's not sort of reinvent it. Like, if we have already found a solution in Vermintide, let's reuse that idea. We still had to do changes to it, but let's not reinvent the wheel when we already have a good solution. So yeah, the melee combat, I would say, is probably the main thing that we took from Vermintide.
And like, you guys have that really cool anime AI system, which makes each playthrough differently. But man, I would love to see you guys try to do some procedural generated tile tech to make all the maps different every time you play. Have you guys discussed that internally?
It is something that we are experimenting with. I'm not promising anything here.
No, you're just testing. This is a test, folks. You're not.
Exactly. But we have a team that are experimenting with all the new AI stuff that is coming out now, and see how we could use it and what we can do with it. It's still so early on. We don't really know. Like everybody else, it's like we're sort of a bit wandering around, a bit blind at this new sort of technology that we are faced with. But we're definitely sort of poking at it and trying to figure out how we can use it in a cool way.
So I have some actually community questions from one of the best Darktide players in the world, Kendall Ford. How will the Mastiff function alongside not just the Arbitus, but the other players as well?
One cool thing that, he follows the Arbites around. The Arbites can also order him to attack elite enemies or above. The way how it integrates with the other players is that we have this system called coherency or aura in the game, where if you stay close to your friends, you regain toughness. And there is a talent in the Arbites talent tree that allows the dog to also count towards coherency. So you can stick close to the dog and be in coherency with your teammates. So that's a way how it sort of cross works with the other classes as well.
With this next update, he wants to know if you will possibly feature any new weapons or tools.
Yeah, the Arbites comes with 4 unique weapons that are only available to him. It is a Arbitus shotgun. It's a pump action shotgun, super powerful. It has a new weapon special where he takes a cartridge from the top of the gun and loads it in, and it has like an electric charge on the shotgun. He also has a shot pistol with a shield, so he's the first character in the game that is able to play defensively while doing ranged combat. He also has a shield and a shock maul, which the shield charges up when it gets hit, and then he can use the weapon special to release that charge as a shockwave in front of him. And then he also has a Arbitus shock maul that is really powerful and cool to use.
Do you plan on doing more collabs with our Owlcat?
We don't have anything planned right now, but it was really fun doing it with Owlcat. I think it was like a month or two ago. So if they're up for it, I think we are as well. Definitely.
Any love for the other classes for tools and weapons?
Yes, since we are adding a new shotgun with the Arbites, we went back and retooled the old shotguns as well. So they have all gotten some love, and there are also some other weapons that have also gotten some love in this update. Yeah.
So this is a lore question. With the implication of the Inquisition isn't doing hot with pulling of the Nurgle infestation on the planet, pushing the Arbitres to step in, could this mean that maybe gangers or upper hive mind will be more involved with attempting to stem the tide of the Mobian Six?
Yeah. Maybe. No, I can't answer that, sorry.
Anything is possible.
Anything is possible, that is true.
You know, off the table, if you could do anything, if time, money, and budget and approvals weren't a question, is there a specific weapon or class or faction you'd want to put in the game, and why?
I definitely think if we had like unlimited budget and resources for a while, I would definitely do another faction. I think that's probably the first thing I would do, because I think the game is ripe for some new enemies. So yeah, that's where I would put my money. Yeah.
There are people out there who love the Adeptus Mechanicus. When can people expect the next update?
This update will come on June 23rd, and then if the gaming dev gods are with us, we will also have an update after summer sometime.
What's a big misconception from an outsider who doesn't make games but plays a lot of them about game development?
That it's fast to produce content. No, I think the biggest misconception is that it is easy to do stuff. Everything is hard to do. Like even the easiest thing that you think like, yeah, it won't be a problem, there will 100% be problems. Everything takes much longer to do than you can imagine. Because even like adding a button with a text on it, you have to then localize that text. You have to sort of create the button. There's lots of work, and it takes minimum like 3-4 weeks to just do that. Because there's a lot of back and forth between different, like we have to send it away for translation and stuff like that. So everything in the game, how small it ever is much more time consuming than you think it is. And even us, the developers, think, I will do that in like 2 weeks, no problem. And then it takes like a month to do. So yeah, it is really hard.
This is now your third Games Workshop collaboration with the IP. Can you talk about your relationship with them and like how it's evolved and what they supply in terms of support and tech to make the game a reality?
Yeah, we've been working with them for 10 years now, I think. I mean, yeah, like I said, we have weekly meetings with them where we talk to them both about like sometimes they come with ideas to us and we bring ideas to them. We discuss like how things should look, how they should work. Maybe there's some weapons, since we are doing this thing where we are using weapons that previously have only been seen on the mini models. Like some of them, like nobody knows how it actually works, so we need to figure out, okay, how does this weapon actually work? Does it have like a receiver? Does it have a magazine, or how does it actually function? So there's a lot of discussions like that going on as well, trying to figure out like how would it sound. Like when we tried to come up with how a last gun sounded, like nobody knew. Like, is it silent? It's a laser. Is it a laser or like?
Kickback?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, okay. And we ended up giving it kickback, even though I know there is a hot topic in the community if it should have kickback or not. But it just for the game feel, having a weapon that has no kickback is just super boring to shoot. So we went with the sort of more fun option.
Not to kind of like toot your own horn, but there have been a lot of 40K games, a lot of fantasy games, digital games that don't necessarily find their audience stick around very long. But what is it you think about your games that make the community just play them for so long? Vermintide 2 was supported for so long, and you're continuing to support Darktide as well.
I think it's a combination that we keep building on them. We don't give up on them. We just keep adding stuff, like sometimes maybe foolishly or like, but we just keep working on them. But the other thing I think is the randomness in the game. So it stays fresh for a very, very long time. And I think every time you play a match, even me, I've been playing this game for like 6 years since working on it. I get surprised every time. Like, holy shit! Did you see that guy come flying over there? Like, there's always something that is like you weren't expecting that happens, and it's pretty much every time you play. And I think that just makes you want to come back and play more.
Can you pet the dog?
Yes, you can, but only you, because they are cyber mastiffs. They're not like nice dogs. It will bite off the hand of anyone else that pets it. But yes, the arbitrator can pet his own dog.